Welcome to the Betting Dog's Edge, your fighting football Vegas insiders. I'm your MMA analyst, J-Dog.
And I'm your NFL analyst, Corey Dog. In this episode, we're bringing you a recap of the fights, recap of the NFL, upcoming events, early leans, and our early mouth-watering picks of the week. Let's jump into it.
All right, let's get right into it. So UFC 112 went off pretty good last weekend here, and we did just an overall thing here. There was 12 fights. One of them got canceled. One of them got rescheduled, or a new fighter came in, and another guy got a draw on there. So we were 9-1 and 1.
Nice.
And 1, and then you were 7-3 and 1 and 1. And so pretty good, picks, I guess, on the last fight. The bets obviously got affected by all that.
Mm-hmm.
No fight, change in guard, and the draw. So we did okay with it. Not as good as we wanted, obviously, but it is what it is. So,
all right,
that's the fight game recap.
All right, and in the NFL this week, we both went 10-6. That's a great week for picks. Unfortunately, there's some bar injury that are going to affect the league going forward. So this Monday night, we just had the Steelers and the Dolphins game, our last bet of the week. We had $25 on that one, and fortunately, it looks like the Steelers came out. They came out to play today, ladies and gentlemen. That underdog pick plus 154. That was my underdog pick of the week last week. And going forward, we're looking at week 17 starting here soon. Week 16.
Week 16.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So we gotta look at that. We got early divisional rival games. We have a bunch of things coming up this week. So let's look at it. We're looking at.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. We're looking at early games this week. Divisional rivals with the Rams. We're going to dive into those here a little bit later. We got the Eagles and the Commanders, and we got some other things that's going to make the playoffs this year very, very interesting. We have some major injuries on the teams, superstars that are out. This year has been marred by injury. What do you think about that?
There's always injuries in football, man. You know what I mean? They just always come up. Usually leg injuries is my thing. But,
yeah, and that's and most of them are hamstrings. I mean, this year I've seen some more ACLs on non-contact injuries than I've seen anywhere else.
Yeah,
that's playing a major part in what's going to affect your game, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Mahomes is out. That's a big one. You know what I mean?
Is out.
Yeah, some injuries are starting to come down the road here on some major players. So, but Casey's done for the playoffs anyways. Doesn't really matter, but kind of sucks anyways for Mahomes and like Scattaboo and things like that. I think they got affected by things like that.
Michael Parsons changed the game for Green Bay. He's out with an ACL as well. So this week's games are going to be marked. We're going to have some different variables in on what we're looking at in our calculations for our final parlays and picks later in the week.
Yeah, I got you.
So.
All right, so let's move on to the upcoming events here, right? So we're going into the next week here, and with the next week in the fight game anyways, there is no UFC fights. Nobody came in to fill the gap of no UFC fights for the next month. PFL didn't come in. I mean, BKFC is there, but it's fairly new, so that doesn't have the large crowd that it needs for MMA. But it's getting good, but it's not that big. You know what I mean? It's still fairly new. But with that being said, something has to fill the gap for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm the fight guy. We need something. You know what I mean?
You're not out here street fighting, right? On the side.
My background, as you know, is boxing. You know what I mean? So I'm a big boxer. I love boxing. That's why it's the biggest poster back there. Everything wraps around boxing, right? For me. So I'm a hands guy, but I like grappling. Of course, I have brothers. You know what I mean? I wrestled in high school and stuff. So, but boxing, that is my passion. So with that being said, we need to find something. I found boxing, obviously. That's when first thing I went to was the boxing game. So when looking into that, we have a couple of, what are those, high audience fights. They're not, I wouldn't say big name, like championship fights, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. But they're big name fights, so they're audience fights, right? You know what I mean? So, very interesting. Everybody wants to see what happens.
You're kicking the holidays off with an interesting event.
Yeah, and that's on Friday, December 19th, which is only a few days away from here. Yeah. Then the day after that is the Tate versus Demore. Now, first off, Jake Joshua, that's live on Netflix. That's free. Tate versus Demore, that's on Rumble Premium, so obviously you have to pay for that. So I'm gonna wait for that until it comes out, and then I'll watch it later. But Tate versus Demore, very interesting fight. Tate's 39 years old. Demore is young, and he's holding a belt.
Yeah, he
but,
looks real interesting.
Yeah, but I'll get you my my early picks on this one here, sooner or later. But I wanted to show you this. This is them doing a little standoff here in the middle of the desert. Dubai, but you can see that the difference in height and girth and all that stuff, age and all that stuff. But with that being said, I know the fight game, and I've watched Demore, and he's still pretty new in this game, you know what I mean? But pretty good stare off, you know what I mean? So regardless. Moving forward, so those are the two fights, right?
Okay.
On Friday and Saturday. And then the week after that, we have the Naya Inoue versus Alan Picasso fight. That is going to be a crazy fight.
The monster.
Naya Inoue is the monster. He's got 87% knockout
87%
statistic. Yeah, 87%.
When's the last time I heard
Picasso.
that?
Now, with that being said, Picasso is a good fighter. He is undefeated,
Really?
and he's holding belts himself.
Okay.
So it's going to be a good fight. You know what I mean? And the bets on that, I got some really good bets already for that. We'll get into those a little later. But right now, with the early picks and stuff, we'll get into that here in a little bit. Now, one thing with the Naya Inoue fight, just to kind of get into it a little bit, was they kind of consider this El Ray Picasso guy a defense title fight, but not considered a tune-up fight. It's kind of getting Inoue ready for the next fight that they're all kind of wanting him to get into, which is with this man, Junto Nakatani, which apparently is one of his, Japanese brothers that he, I guess, fights with every now and then in the gyms, but when they were growing up.
Really?
So it's going to be a big fight because Junto is an undefeated person as well. And he's a monster, apparently, as well. Silent killer is what they call him when he breaks jaws. So, you know what I mean?
When you got a nickname like that.
I mean, you got, the monster and the silent killer. I mean, it's like, an immovable object hitting a, what do you call that? I don't even know the terminologies anymore. I'm so tired. It's been a long day, but yeah, we're getting it going here. Yeah. And then I might sprinkle in some Holly Holmes, because Holly Holmes turned into boxing. Yeah. And the main card on that Holly Holm fight bout is Serrano versus Crew. And Serrano is just she'll knock people out. Yeah. It's crazy. So it's going to be good. So looking at some of these bets here, right?
Yeah.
Just a couple of the bets so we can get into it. Anthony Joshua win rounds 5 and 8. It's only an 8-round fight. To knock him out, disqualify him, TKO him, whatever. It's going to, win in 5-8. And of course, Naya Inoue to knock out in the 7 to 12 rounds. With that, that's $1,655 with $30. It's a payout of what, 300 and something? I can't even read it. But I believe it's like 326.
Yeah, I think it was like 326.
Yeah, exactly. So, just a little tidbit, on there that those are the type of things that we're looking at for, these fighters that, plus 1,000 or minus 1,000, you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're going to have to parlay them into something or make some sort of single game play. So that's what we did on that. Just a little tidbit. Didn't say I didn't make this bet yet, but something to maybe think about in that direction. Let's see. And that's pretty much it for me.
All right.
Move into yours.
All right. So I'm doing we're leaning into the early picks for this week's NFL. We got a divisional round playoff game playoff ramifications for number 1 seed in the NFC West, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Rams versus the Seahawks. Now, this is a replay from earlier in the year where the Rams won this game by 2 points. Now they're going up to Seattle where they got a fight versus the 12th man. They're going to be down their number 1 receiver, Devontae Adams. I misspoke in the last episode and said it was an ACL, but it's actually a hammy. He's down with a hamstring. They're expecting him back in the playoffs. Right now, that is the Rams touchdown machine. Matt Stafford has 36 touchdowns this year. Devontae Adams got 14 of them.
Okay.
All right. So That's a big thing right there.
If he comes back. If he comes
Oh,
back.
no, he's not. For this game, he's not coming.
No, not this one.
Yeah, for the playoffs.
If playoffs.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
playoffs. But this divisional game, they played a couple of weeks ago. Rams only won by 2 points.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so,
I misheard you.
Not a problem. But, it's going to be a good game, though. I mean, I'm still pulling for the Rams. I like Puka Nacua. That boy is a beast. I don't know if you saw that play last week where he snatched that interception straight out that dude's hands as he was falling to the ground. That's a top 10 play of the week.
Yeah, there was a couple of those last week when I was watching the red zone on there. And yes, I do remember that play. That was amazing play.
That's
stole it right out the air.
I mean, it was just
right out his chest.
You stick them back in the 80s. Here, let me get that from you. And now we're moving into the Packers and the Bears. This game is being played in Chicago. Now, this is a Saturday game. It's going to be a doubleheader. It's the second game of the match of the day. Now, I'm going with the Bears at home. Now, the reason being, Packers defense has lost their number one pressure guy, Michael Parsons, out with an ACL. We just talked about leg injuries. This is going to affect the defense. This is another divisional game. The Bears are currently number one in the NFC North, so therefore, this win is going to help them get seeded a little bit better.
All right.
And then I'm moving over to the Commanders and the Eagles. That's the first game of this Saturday's matchup. This Saturday's matchup, we're looking at the quarterback for the Commanders. Jayden Daniels has been shut down, and we got a veteran, Marcus Mariota, that's coming in. He did do a decent job last week, but the Eagles, to me, are more put together, and they're going to take them out with the rest of just going to win this game straight out. Then we're moving down to the Ravens and the Patriots. The Patriots are coming off a tough loss in the snow game against Buffalo. Everybody knows Buffalo likes to play in a whiteout, but at the end of the day, you both play in cold weather, so I don't know why you lost. Mike Vrabel is going to have those boys back together, and they're going into Baltimore, and they're going to get that win against the Ravens. I like that game. Now, another divisional matchup, moving on down to the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Now, that one, that's another. There's 7-7 teams, so this tie has to go. And I'm leaning towards right now, I'm going Buccaneers. Mike Evans is back from a collarbone injury, and he averages about 106 yards a game against the Panthers historically over the last 10 years. So I'm going with the Buccaneers for that game. Then we're moving into the Bills and the Browns. I like Shedeur Sanders, but Buffalo's been on a tear lately. I'm giving Josh Allen and the boys the lean on that game as well. And then we're going to the Chargers and the Cowboys. I don't know what's going on in Dallas. Y'all start out good. You average 30 points a game. How do you keep losing? I don't understand it. And the Chargers, how coach has them playing real well. The Chargers are number one actually in the AFC West this year. They're going to win the West.
All right.
So, that's a surprising thing coming out of there.
I mean, 10-4. So
yeah, they're going to win the West for the first time. Don't worry, we coming for you again. And then we're moving down to this Saints and Jets game. These are the lowest. We're looking at the Jets at 3-11, and we got the Saints at 4-10. This is the bottom of the bottom almost. And the Saints killed us last week versus the Panthers with that end of the game field goal. That's what's got us. I'm leaning the Jets this week. They just fired their defensive coordinator, and I know the energy after you fire coach. The players play. They see the fire coming. They're gonna get the light let out and get right.
What was the other team that lost their coach this year that didn't do that?
The Giants.
Yeah, that's right.
They're coming up next.
That's right. 2-12. Anyway, with that being said, that Jets and Saints, I disagree with you on that one. I have the Saints for this one.
You have the Saints?
60% to win.
Really?
60-40 on this one.
Wow. Okay.
Inconsistency Jets.
Oh.
So, that's just over the New Orleans Saints. So,
yeah. Okay.
Got that. So we disagree on that one. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, we're going to dive into a little bit later and get some more numbers. And then we're looking at the game that he just the team that he just mentioned. We were looking at the Vikings and the Giants. They fired their coach earlier this year, Brian Dable. We're looking, and I'm leaning towards the Vikings with this one to bounce back and get a win.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson, they hit him a couple of times in the end zone. They got a call back for penalties. So I'm looking for him to bounce back against this Giants defense. And then we're rolling into the Chiefs and the Titans in Tennessee. This one, I have the Chiefs winning, even though I have Gardner Minshew as my quarterback. It's the Titans.
I still do too. I still got Chiefs to win. Because it's the
Titans. It's the Titans.
Even my AI is like, Chiefs, man. Sorry, buddy.
At the end of the day, it's got to be, we're doing what we got to do. But even if AI is picking it, what are y'all doing, Tennessee?
I even said it. I was like, but they lost Mahomes. He's like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
You got to look at it. The AI is saying something. I'm going to need y'all to get it together. Then we're rolling into the Bengals and the Dolphins. I chose the Bengals. You got Joe Burrow coming back. You have you have Jamar Chase. I don't know what's going on mentally there with you, Joe. Everybody gets hurt. Come back. If you want to find someplace else to play, you negotiate your way out, man. But nobody's going to want to quit her. That's what my take on it. I won't.
Even after Monday's Dolphins game last night, I have Dolphins to win 58% over the Bengals.
Ooh.
And it's in Miami, so they're not freezing their ass off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that's a good.
I think they're a whole lot better at home anyway. So I think they may have the edge on that. Only 8%, only a small little 58%. Over 42. So.
Mike McDaniels and the play calling inconsistencies and can't finish a game.
Yeah, it'll be a shootout.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a shootout, but I think the tempo and they're at home and they're just getting off this big old loss. They're not going to want to lose like that again. But we shall see.
We'll see. They lost Tyreek Hill earlier this year. They didn't go out and get any additional weapons to take his place, and it shows.
It's early picks.
Yeah.
It could change.
It could change.
I'm just letting you know. You know what I mean? At that, we disagree on that one at the moment. So moving forward.
And then the last one of the week, there's the 49ers and the Colts. So I'm going with the 49ers. Old man Phillip Rivers. You did some good work this past week, but I'm still leaning towards the 49ers with the consistency of their play this year. So they're 10-4 versus 8-6. The Colts started out real good, and they are marred by injury.
Yeah,
this is a big time marred by injury situation. So that's what we're looking at for our early picks for the week.
Oh, did you get everything?
I got all 16.
You did? Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's dive into these mouth-watering picks of the week. Let's talk about them.
Hold on. Take it easy there. All right, Liz. So we are on the mouth-watering picks. Let's see how that works, yeah?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. First, early picks, mouth-watering picks. I'm looking at the Broncos over the Jags in Denver. I'm taking it. You're in Mile High. You're fighting the weather, your elements. They're Florida boys coming up. We don't operate well in cold all the time. So I'm giving it to the Broncos at home. And then on my next one, I got the Texans. That they're gonna do what they got to do. Then I have the Bills. I got the Vikings, the 49ers, and the Eagles for my mouth-watering picks of the week. These are my early leans and my early mouth-watering picks. What about you?
Was that mine too? Or
no, that was mine.
Oh, what are mine?
Yours. Your early picks. We differ on 2 games.
Right.
Your mouth-watering picks of the week are the Lions, the Texans, the Eagles, the Bills, and the 49ers.
Yeah, that was 5. Was there one more?
The Lions.
The
Chiefs.
Yeah. So these 2 right here, and then these 4. We agree on these 4 on the side here.
Yeah.
And then these 2 on top are yours. These 2 on bottom are mine. So those are early. Still early. You know what I mean? You never know. We could change them, but at the moment, those are their strongest ones that I think will most likely hit based on probabilities, implied odds, true odds, probability, all that stuff. Right.
All the probabilities right
all
now.
The probabilities.
Those are we're running the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said, we're doing the homework, figure out the best stuff for you. Might be a 4-leg, might be a 5-leg, might be a 6-leg. But we'll let you know in the next one. What we're looking at for the mouth-watering picks of the week.
Yep, definitely like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment below, all that good stuff.
Follow us on all the socials. You'll see them there shortly. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
Nice.